Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round number, round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge's 11th season. I don't even remember what night it is anymore. It's presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. I think I'm Greg Ginsburg, and right here by my side should be Larry Lefty McLeod, His Eminence, along with Jonathan Grabowski working behind the scenes, giving us all the best views of tonight's action. So, designed and opened just a bit more than 60 years ago, tonight's circuit became known for the quality of its sports car racing that brought the world's best racers to Bowmanville, just 64 kilometers east of Toronto, and laid the foundation for the Can-Am Series. As just the second purpose-built road course in Canada, this 10-turn high-speed circuit that meanders through the countryside for 2.5 miles has been influenced by its first ever race winner, Sterling Moss, and has played host to not only Can-Am, but Formula One, IMSA, as well as NASCAR's Pinty Series. But tonight, it's GTP, it's LMP2, and it's GT3, and a 75-minute run to the checker at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, affectionately known still as Mosport. Good evening, Larry, and welcome to the Great White North.
Yeah, it's great to be back at Mosport because I know where we are. I know it's Monday night because that's the only place I am on Monday nights is calling these races because we do love them and they're always exciting. And yes, we're here for round two of the new version of our World Challenge. And as you say, all three classes should be very intense. And since this place is kind of built for these kind of races, I think tonight's going to step up to be one of our good ones to watch, as if they aren't every week.
Yeah, I was going to say this track is nothing but intense because it is fast.
It definitely creates excitement. Some tracks, it seems that the different classes interact in a way that's very easy to manage. This is not one of those nights.
Not one of them, no.
Coming down to turn 5, the Moss Corner will be treacherous, solo treacherous in a class-on-class battle, and it becomes nearly impossible when 3 classes come together, which is what we're here to bring you. So if you're watching, tune in. Hopefully your favorite driver is able to stay clear. And, well, maybe they won't be, but that's what we're here to watch.
Indeed. So we've got drivers. They are finishing up their practice session right now, Larry, and within just a matter of moments, they will begin their 15-minute lone qualifying session. We're on board right now with Tanner Dibble, who just went through the Moss hairpin, what is actually, I think, 2 apexes there, and he's making his way down that very long Mario Andretti straightaway. And, you know, it is just so difficult to make passes here because when I say that this track meanders, I mean, it is just turn after turn after turn. They're all high speed. Yeah, with the exception of that hairpin, there is no release and no braking release for that matter.
It's a fantastic track for the drivers just to float speed around this place constantly. It's just unbelievable, but it does make it difficult to pass in any class. So we're going to see a lot of attempted passes. We're going to see a lot of unsuccessful ones, and maybe a couple of successful ones. We'll have to see what brings us in the next 75 minutes.
Indeed. All right, so our drivers are going to be heading out in just a moment for qualifying. Unfortunately, Larry, we do not have a track guide tonight. Kevin Ford, a little bit under the weather this evening and was not able to provide that to us. So maybe what we'll do is when we have the drivers head out on course, we'll follow one around and see what they do on course. Tell you what, we've got him right here. This is Eric Palacio, assuming he doesn't slide off the course on his outlap. This might be a great opportunity to see Mosport here as he is now dropping down. Actually raising up here, the right-hander up at Quebec corner.
Yeah, as they come out of this turn 3, start heading down toward the Continental Bridge, this left-hand downhill, plummeting down towards all the way down to the Moss hairpin. And just when you think you've gotten to the bottom of the hill, you have to go back up the hill again to do the double apex. There's one apex, float the car towards a second. This becomes the most critical exit on the track, leaving from the bottom of the hill at the Moss hairpin. And then, as you mentioned, this is the weaving, winding, steering wheel never straight. In fact, that's a lot of steering wheel there.
Exactly. That's a lot of correction he's putting in there, yeah.
He's listening along, showing us exactly how unstraight the steering wheel is, but he's probably trying to warm the tires up there in his Ferrari. So we're getting along this back straight into these high-speed right-hander that decreases into a second apex. And then you got the left hand, which is a little bit slower, and then into the final right-hander, a little bit slower than that. Each one of these takes a little bit of speed off, but none of them are slow. It just seems like it, considering all the speed you've carried. It's just a fantastic layout of a track to just feel a car underneath you moving around and applying the power. It's brilliant.
Indeed. So Palacio starting his first flying lap, taking a look right now at David Klimovich, who obviously is in one of our GT3 machines here this week and driving the number 221 Porsche. And so, Larry, as we have our drivers out for qualifying right now, what they have is what we call lone qualifying. They essentially have the track all to themselves, and we're going to give them 4 attempts, 4 flying laps in order to set their fastest lap and set the grid. We'll have our GTP cars gridded at the front. We'll have our LMP2 cars behind, and then we'll have all of the GT3 cars going out together. So we're on board with Bobby Childs now from D2D Sim Racing. And Larry, we had a number of drivers switch to new race chassis this week. The majority of those racers, they were in the GT3 category, and they moved over to the brand new version of the McLaren 720S, the GT3 Evo. But Bobby Childs, who has been racing the Acura ARX-01 for the last couple of seasons, has now moved over to the BMW M-Power GTP machine. And if I remember correctly, when we first started with the GTP series here in the World Challenge, that is the chassis that Bobby was racing, and I think the majority of the D2D guys were. And then when Bailey Petrowski and and Poliquin Grit came over. They switched over to the Acura.
Yeah, interesting. I expected in the GT3 ranks for some drivers to shuffle around, considering the new cars became available. As you mentioned, that new McLaren, it's really got an eye on right there, on board with Billy Petrowski. He's in one of them. But I didn't expect to see too many others moving. Very interesting to see that even in the GTPs, Bobby Childs jumping to a new chassis here. It is only week 2, so it looks like the admins decided to let everybody pick a new car should they want to. Normally in this series, if you haven't been with us for the years, is once you start with a car, you have to continue with that car or yield all of your points. I think they're waiving that little piece because of the new things being released for iRacing new season 4, 3, whatever we're on, the new season of
I think it's iRacing season 4.
It is season 4,
yeah. And we heard that there were in upwards of 12 different drivers that moved over to the McLaren, which is absolutely huge. I'm counting, I think, 9 tonight, including Bailey Petrowski. And Bailey was actually the fastest of our GT3 racers in practice this week, Larry. So he's taken to it pretty quickly here this week, as last week and a half.
I gotta say, as we're on board here with the Ilya speaker, it looks very good. It looks a lot better than the old one did, and we'll see how it handles. It's a pretty good number of folks, the lemmings, jumping over to the McLaren here. I don't know if it actually comes. I don't know if the
speaking of video games, Larry.
Yeah, I don't know if the dashboard includes check engine lights as a real McLaren would, but perhaps that's just part of the realism of the simulation.
All right, so as we take a look here, of course, all of our GT3 cars, as we were just watching Ilya's speaker, you can pick them out, well, because they're GT3 cars and they don't look very much like prototypes. They've got red number boards, red windshield banners, and probably Ricmotech red number boards, windshield banners, mirrors, and end plates on the wings. There they goes. There's Ryan Reeves in the 292 machine, also moving over to the McLaren. I guess probably the big difference is going to be looking at our prototypes, where all of our LMP2 machines are on the same chassis. They're all running the Ligier JSP 320s, but obviously in GTP or LMDH, number of different chassis. We've got the Acuras, we've got the Caddies, we've got the Porsches, and we've got the BMWs out there. The GTP machines, they will have black number boards on the cars, black windshield banners and end plates as well, whereas the LMP2 cars have the blue number boards on them, and it's like just like that, just like Charlie Hosea from Rockefeller Racing, who I'm sure is looking to stay away from his teammate Avon Dorsey this week.
And is it me, or is the reflection in the image gone from the windshield? So it looks like there's no windshield, but I promise you there is one in these cars. But there's just something about the graphics tonight that make it look like they've all popped their windshields out and all of their LMP2s. I don't think that would be allowed.
Beaver hits in Canada, I guess, Larry.
Yes, and look out for the wild beavers on the track. We're not going to go there tonight. That was
actually we're going to have to go there tonight, Larry, because a little bit later, my understanding is we're going to have Alex Brown from Eagle Beaver Racing joining us in the commentary box for a little pre-race interview.
Well, that'll be fun. We can ask him all about his mascot.
The organizers of this league, because he's racing the Mustang, and wanted us to ask maybe how the new Mustang chassis is, and I just knew automatically, there he is. There's Alex Brown, Canadian, by the way. But
how could you tell?
Yeah, but I knew that we would probably spend most of our time trying to find out about who came up with the livery and the name for the team, as if the eagle with a beaver head. As
in having an eagle with a beaver as a mascot wasn't enough to declare his Canadianness. He's got the giant maple leaf bumper on the back of his Mustang as well. So hey, a proud Canadian there here running at his home track tonight. I assume it's his home track, as I just assume all Canadian race car people are from Mosport.
Exactly. I mean, it could be like Cala Boogie or something.
They could be at Mount Tremblant or something too, but I assume they're here at Mosport.
I was gonna say all Canadian iRacers live within 5 kilometers of Mosport. It's a rule. All right, here is we're watching Robert Schwenkler from the Wrong Stuff, and Robert also making the move over to the McLaren. And he's working now his third flying lap, Larry, currently sitting 16th in GTP and looking to move up. Now, of course, one of the big changes for season 11 of the World Challenge is we no longer have a GT Pro, GT3 Pro and GT3 AM, just one big GT3 class. And so right now it is, Larry, 35 cars deep.
Large field tonight. 52 cars are registered for the server tonight. I think that might be a new record for us in any of these Ricmotech extreme events that we've been calling for the last 3 or 4 years. This is big, and I think it shows you how attractive this race series is, but also I think people just love Mosport. That's my guess.
I think that's probably the big one. All right, so we're following now Dalton Fredericks in his Porsche 963. He is, I believe, one of the only drivers, actually the only driver, Larry, yet to set a time, and he's on his outlap right now. So he's got.
It's a relatively quick track, certainly in a GTP.
He should be able to do it.
It's going to be somewhere around just over a minute. I think the slowest of the GTPs are about 1:04.
Right.
So he's got plenty of time to run 4 times around Mosport. Shouldn't be a problem.
Exactly.
To get a lap time down. Chase is still out there.
So he's going to start his first flying lap. Yeah, very few drivers on track currently. We've got Jim Pfeiffer, as you said, Adam Johnson, and both in their LMP, or probably in their GTP cars, both have just completed their final flying laps. Johnson coming in 5th fastest in GTP, Pfeiffer 6th, and that leaves us with Phil Caffrey in his GT3 Ferrari. He just completes his last flying lap. So right now, Dalton Fredericks, the only driver yet to set a flying lap, and
he's halfway to set one.
Put in his 4.
Yeah, he's climbing now this back straight, and I tell you that the game does it justice. It does show you how much of a hill this back straight really is, and if you're run this in something like a V or something with some power like the Miata or the Spec Ford, it is an effort to climb that hill.
Yes.
Obviously, a GTP car has got plenty of legs to get up there, but there is a bit of an effect as we're going to see Dalton Fredericks now crossing start finish. His first lap is a good one. There you go, all the way up to 8th.
And so Dibble was, you see, is your provisional pole sitter for the moment, with Ben Rose 2nd fastest. Rose was the fastest GTP racer in his Acura during the week. He had put in a 103.340, and amazingly enough, he didn't match it, but Tanner Dibble did, and that was your pole time this evening, Larry.
Yeah, there's a lot of quick laps here. Pretty well bunched up there with Dibble, with Rose just a couple of ticks there behind him. But we'll see if Dalton Fredericks here can lay down. He's on a pretty decent lap here. I'm just watching the speed trace as he goes around this track. The turn 1 min speed was like 140, and turn 3, which seems slow, was 101. Right now carrying 102 and then getting all the way down to 95 miles an hour
to
here
go
for
through
the
final corner. Yeah.
Just to give you an idea of exactly how fast that Porsche GTP car really is. And look at that. Picks up a couple more spots all the way up to 4th now, the 103.9. So maybe waiting till the end of the session for Dalton was the right move.
Yeah, indeed, as he leapfrogs Pfeiffer, Johnson, as well as Jordan
the speedometer
Butler.
On the screen there, 105 is the lowest I saw as he goes around turn 3. The Moss hairpin probably will see down in the 50s maybe. That will clearly be the slowest point on the track.
And obviously the challenge here is not to outbrake yourself as you come over the rise out of the first apex.
Yeah, 170 coming to the break-in zone, 52 min speed at the second apex. That's
knocking off 120 miles an hour.
That's just crazy.
So it peaks out at 184.
Yeah. Still carrying 140 entering the second to last corner, then gets down into the 90s here on the very last. A bit of a slide there. This one's going to be a bit of a bobble. See if he was able to overall improve.
All right, let's see here as he comes across the line. Does not improve, a 104.3. So looking over at LMP2, where we have Josh Chinsky, should be our pole sitter there. He turned in a 105.87 Charlie Hosea from Rockefeller, he was your fastest LMP2 driver during the week in practice and was a full second off of that pole time. So Chinsky just absolutely flying out there. And in GT3, I think I mentioned Bailey Petrowski in the McLaren was the fastest driver during the week. In testing, he put in a 1:14.704. And here tonight, he puts in a 1:14.98 or 8. Well, not 90. Yeah, 98, 977. So a little bit faster in practice, but still enough to take pole by just a couple hundredths of a second. And I'm looking to see if our Eagle Beaver Larry has shown up. No.
All right, so a little issue getting our guest in for the pre-race interview, it sounds like.
Yeah, having some issues getting into our green room. We have some lumberjacks guarding the front door, Larry, and apparently the Eagle Beaver
did not full Mounties. What are you talking about?
Yeah, did not have the secret password.
They're on horseback.
Jesus. Oh my God.
We could say we have the Leafs defensive line, but that wouldn't hold anybody out.
No,
I'm sorry, I just shouldn't have gone there.
Well, the Canadian Football League, they have 12 players. They have an extra lineman.
They do. Only 3 downs to get in, but we're not going to get into the rules of Canadian CFL.
Please
it's exciting to watch.
Please no, and they still use yards for some reason. I never understood.
I'm a big
that.
Rough Riders fan myself.
I'll bet you are.
I am.
All right.
So it looks like qualifying is set.
It is now complete.
Yeah. All right.
I
So
can't tell if Director John is laughing or if he's sneezing. It sounds very much the same.
Could be crying.
You know, Larry, one of these days we're going to end up on the Apex Racing TV late Apex, not for any action on the course, but just for our banter.
Yes, let's hope so. Hopefully our banter is good enough. But
Sam
meanwhile,
Fitzpatrick, do you hear that?
let's go through these starting grid. I'll cover all the prototypes if you want to get the GT3s.
Sounds good. We'll do it.
All right. So starting tonight on the front row, it's a lockout. DNA Motorsports on the front row. Tanner Dibble going to lead us down to turn 1. His teammate Ben Rose will be on his outside. Row 2 continues the more DNA Motorsports. Ryan Reisman will take the inside. And then we've got Dalton Fredericks on the outside from Phantom Power Racing all the way up to that 4th spot. On the 5th row, it's another DNA on the inside. It's Jordan Butler. He'll be lined up alongside the Wrong Stuff's Adam Johnson. On row 4, you're going to have a Sector 5 racing entry from Jim Pfeiffer on the inside and Phantom Power Racing on the outside of Jake Zito. On row 5, Jair Alvarado from the Wrong Stuff will be on the inside and Bobby Childs from DZD Sim Racing on the outside of row 5. And that is your GTPs. Let's jump into our LMP2s. And the pole there is going to be Josh Chinsky from SRT Esports. And Josh will be lined up alongside Charlie Hosea. On the 2nd row there, you're going to have Avon Dorsey from Rockefeller Racing alongside David Menona from SRT Esport. And the 3rd row, Josh Vidal from Phantom Power alongside Baron Glover from The Wrong Stuff. And then finally, Aaron Beaver from Rockefeller Racing LMP2.
All right, as we move over to GT3, as we said, Bailey Petrowski from D2D Sim Racing, he is your pole sitter. Sitting to his left is going to be Brian Bennett from Sector 5 Racing. Then we've got Ilya Speaker from Rockefeller and Milan Harris making up row number 2. Row 3 is going to be Chris Thorman from D2D and Jeff Brooks from The Wrong Stuff. Row 4 will be Eric Palacio in the number 39 Ferrari, along with Alex Brown from Eagle Beaver Racing. Then we've got Jeff Jacobs and Mike Dam starting in row number 5. Then we've got Stacy Bertrand. She'll be starting in 11th position in the Ford Mustang, with Taj Edwards in a Corvette starting 11th. And Ryan Reeves with Zach Mosley. Reeves in the McLaren, Mosley in a Mustang, then David Payton from D2D in a Mustang. Dre Divock will be starting out in a McLaren. Then we've got Robert Schwenkler and Chase West. And then Keith Stein, David Richards, Russ Ruddick, David Klimovich, David Steiner, and actually, did I get that right? I got that wrong. So Russ Ruddick then and David Steiner. Then we've got David Klimovich and Jennifer McDonald, Michael Caffrey, Joe Nagy, Adam Ballard and Taylor Bertrand, John Casey and Stephen May. And then we have, if we drop a little bit further down, We've got Andre Wedderburn and Lucas Dragota, Greg Brockway, and Rocky Rocco from Rockefeller Racing, and then Philip Caffrey. And it appears as though Milan Harris, Larry, will be starting his number 98 Lamborghini from the pit lane.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting there. Huge field. I don't know that I'd be wanting to start from the pit lane tonight. One thing to note, if you haven't been with us before, we do split starts. And tonight, as you can see, the GTPs will lead the way. Shortly behind them will be our LMP2s. And then further back, we will have our GT3s. And so Bailey Petrowski will lead that group. You can see they're just entering the Moss hairpin now. So 3 different starts, 3 different groups. Should make things interesting, and don't be surprised if the GTPs are in the back of the GT3s by the end of lap 2.
I was going to say very, very quickly.
With this split start, absolutely.
So, Larry, tonight's race stewards are provided by the SCCA Foundation. SCCA Foundation provides funding for the SCCA Academy, training the next generation of race workers and volunteers that make real-life road racing events possible. Visit sccafoundation.org for more information. All right, so we've got our GTP field now coming into the S's in the 10-8. Ben Rose on the inside there in the number 5 Acura. Actually, it's Tanner Dibble, pardon me, on the inside in the 963 Porsche, with Ben Rose in that burgundy and black machine to his left, starting on the outside with Dalton Fredericks and Ryan Reisman behind. And green flag is in the air, Larry, and we are racing at Mosport. And wow, look at that! Ben Rose just did not seem to get going.
Start.
And wow, and I think it was Fredericks, or probably it was Reisman, almost ran right into the back of him here as they finally get underway.
For him. Tough start for him. Didn't quite be in the right gear, whatever it was. Maybe didn't expect to go green that early. It is Mosport. The green always happens when you're in the middle of that final corner. But so far, they're single file, and it's DNA right now leading the way.
All right, let's take a look now here, Larry, as I believe our LMP2 machines, they've gotten the green already. The GT3 racers, though, they now get the green, and it's Bailey Petrowski jumping out to an early lead over Brian Bennett. Ilya Speaker slotting into 3rd, and then we've got the Mustang of Jeff Brooks with another Mustang, Chris Thorman, very close behind as they now head into Clayton Corner.
Yeah, this GT3 field's the one I worry about a little bit because it's packed. You've got talent that's down the order from where we would normally expect them. That's going to be a challenge for some of those drivers. I saw names like Lucas Dragota, has success in this series. He's pretty far down the order. I even saw Mike Dam not starting in the usual couple front rows there. So you got some folks that are going to try to make their way through the pack in this opening lap, and this is going to be a challenge.
All right, looks like Josh Vidal, Larry, in his LMP2 machine had an off. He drops back. Let's take a look as they come down through turn 1.
He may have had some help. That's Baron Glover there. On his inside, they're stuck together, and they didn't touch the second time. It looked like Vidal may have tried to leave too much room, and you can't do that. That's a wall. Ouch.
And he leaves some body parts there off in the grass on the outside of turn number 2. He's heading to the pits.
As we go on board here, following. Now looking at the LMP2s, got a couple Rockefeller drivers here with Charlie Hosea.
It's the pair, Charlie Hosea and Avon Dorsey, Larry.
Yep. Let's see how well they get along tonight.
Trying to decide when to get their hits in.
Playing all the hits tonight. Well, right behind them is Dave Manetta, and he's not in the Rockefeller race. He's in that bright orange car in the 3rd spot there. They're still trying to keep up with Josh Chinsky, who had a really good start to this thing. Already back out up over a second now on the rest of the field. So keep your eye on them to see if they fight or to see if they stay in line to try and keep up with Chinsky. Look at this. They're too wide coming around here for the second lap of the GT3.
Yeah, and Larry, our pole sitter, Bailey Petrowski, there he is in the 115 D2D sim racing machine. He dropped back about 5 positions from the pole. He's now sitting in 6th.
And that Rockefeller car now just in front of him is having his own bit of issues. That's Ilya Speaker. He was having troubles in the middle of that Moss hairpin. You can see now he's slotted back down. So both Bailey and Ilya having some issues here in this opening 2nd or 3rd lap.
Let's jump up to the GTP battle here real quick. So we're watching Dalton Fredericks and Jim Pfeiffer. And Larry, they're already, and you said it at the end of lap 2, and there you are, end of lap 2.
Yeah,
They're
the
actually
split starts. They push the GT3s back. They move the GTPs forward. And with the lap time differences of about 15 seconds or 10 seconds or so, that's enough on such a short track to put them together very early on. And this is going to be crazy with 35 GT3s in this field around this 2.5-mile track.
Oh my.
This is going to be nuts. So there's Jordan Butler as he's trying to get his DNA entry through this. As somebody's off already in the background there on turn 2. Andre Wedderburn, perhaps?
I think that was Andre Wedderburn in the Porsche that went a little bit wide, and I think Jack Zito went a little wide as well.
Oh, and that's going to be a lot of wide here.
Oh my. Oh, and right behind the tail end of that shot, we had another car going around.
Was that Mike Dam?
Larry, I think it was, and there was also a trailing car that had some issues.
Well, there's Dam there.
Let's see.
So Dam's all right in this. It was one of the Corvettes.
All right, let's see if we can pull up Dalton Fredericks, because all the action happened right around him.
It does look like.
As he runs wide, gets into the grass, comes across.
Wow, and Fredericks ends up there in the grass track right on the inside of the hairpin. Didn't see who the Corvette was. Looks like they recovered, though. Oh, chaos. All of it. Jeff Brooks there in one of our beautiful Mustangs there. And then number 85. He's currently second in that
made
GT3.
up 5 positions, Larry, to move up to second.
Really good job. That's the thing about this opening lap. It seems to be just be consistent. What I am noticing is now all of a sudden there's a lack of McLarens at the front, as now we've got cars. Speaking of McLarens, there's one off the side of the track there. Yeah. I'm wondering if the McLarens are tough on cold tires. All of a sudden, the ones that were at the front of the field playing are suddenly down the order.
Look at the remains of Keith Stein's Corvette, Larry.
Wow.
I mean, this looks like a Lemon's car.
I can't believe it's still moving.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just body parts everywhere.
And there's bodies and body parts. There's all kinds of. Oh, and there's more. That's Keith Stein there. That's getting T-boned.
Oh, that's the 286 car of Taylor Bertram, Canadian, that got it to him. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, Larry.
Lighting them up. I tell you what, that last corner is a bit blind. So yes, you'll have a yellow waving in your spotters telling you, "Hey, car stopped ahead, go left," or whatever he says. But there's nowhere to go when you're completely
I'm telling you, it's a Lemons car now, Larry. And it may only be worth $500. Yeah,
fact,
actually, he's carrying good speed.
He's about to make a pass, it seems, as well.
Oh my gosh!
And that's Greg Brockway right in front of him. At least
that car handles pretty well without a wing.
His position indicator on the side
clip.
of the car still works. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the
half
pits.
the GT3 field is in the pits, Larry. Let's see. We've got Andre Wedderburn, Ilya Speaker, Chris Thorman, Keith Stein, Mike Dam, David Payton, Aaron Beaver, Milan Harris, Taylor Bertram, Lucas Dragoda, Josh Vidal, Russ Ruddick, all in the pits currently.
So here's what I'm surprised that we haven't had a full course yellow, because in the past, when we've got this much chaos on an opening lap, they often throw a full course. They bring the field back together and reset. We didn't do that tonight.
Oh, and there is Mike Dam. We thought he had been in an earlier incident, and this is feeding right out of the pit lane, coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, there's about 14 cars in pit lane, so we'll get replays on as much as we can, but it is chaotic right now.
Oh my gosh!
All right, so here's Mike Dam. Is this a solo issue? Nope.
I'm
maybe.
Gonna guess no.
Oh, that is one of the Mustangs that was in front of him. I wonder if that was Peyton or Thorman, because it looked like a D2D livery on it. And both Peyton and Thorman are in the pits as well. So rough night for the hometown boy Mike Dam, as well as David Payton, as well as Taylor Bertram, all the Canadians. Keith Stein as well. There is one remaining running Canadian on the track. I think it's Alex Brown.
Alex Brown.
I think he's the only one. Let's get a camera on him while we can.
The Eagle Beaver has flown above the fray, Larry.
Here's the replay of Thorman getting into one of the Rockefeller Racing McLarens, and then Mike Dam getting.
There's Brown in the yellow and black Mustang. At least that he just flew above the fray.
I want to make sure that it's Monday night, not Saturday night, because I'm starting to think this looks a lot more like Saturday Night Roundy Round stuff.
Welcome to Flow TV, everybody.
All right, so Josh Chinsky, meanwhile, continuing to lead the LMP2 crowd. He's going to be delicately traversing through some traffic here. He's got one of our D2D entries there in front of him. Taj Edwards, I believe.
Director John says he can't keep up with all the incidents.
That's true. His phone
my gosh.
floating. He's got notifications for incident turned on.
Oh my gosh. So meanwhile, we were watching, and when we were tracking Jeff Brooks's Mustang, who had slotted in the second in GT3, Brian Bennett in the white Porsche, Larry, amidst all the mayhem that we've had in the GT3 ranks, he was able to, at one point, gap the rest of the GT3 field by about 2 seconds. And there he is, all by himself. Must be shaking in his boots anytime an LMP3 car or an LMP2 car.
He's doing a really good job right now, just trying to watch his mirrors, staying clear of traffic. He's got Jeff Brooks a little over second behind him. Then I think he's got Eric Palacio. But look out for Bailey Petrowski. Bailey is about 5 seconds back after the issues he had early on. I don't know if he had any contact, but Bailey appears to have recovered. He's turning fastest laps of the race amongst the GT3s right now. So Bailey is back on form. So we're going to keep an eye on him, about 5 seconds down from Brian Bennett. There's a good shot of Bailey in that number 115 D2D McLaren. And as Charlie Jose in the 100 car goes past him, and Bailey just keeping his car as small and tidy as he can get.
And Larry, in the chat, we got Leo Dragotta thanking his lucky stars that his sim rig is down and he couldn't join the grid tonight. He might end up with more points than half the field.
I'm just reading the chat. Mike Brooks saying that maybe perhaps, as we're in Canada, a lot of people went to the Lance Stroll School of Racing for this weekend.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks, Mike. And for the Lance Stroll fan club, I apologize. He will have a good chassis design for him next year, but we'll leave that to another day. All right, so Bobby Childs, Dalton Fredericks behind him. These guys right now fighting it out for 7th and 8th.
Well, Larry, seeing that Williams always
Fredericks
seems to employ some great Canadian racers. Maybe it was Latifi.
Perhaps. I'm just watching a lot of sliding around by these two. A really good fight, but both of them are testing the track's edge and deciding that maybe they want to go two tracking a little bit. Not recommended around this place. It's too fast to drag tires off into the grass.
It hasn't stopped Bobby before. And we know the last time we were here at Mosport, Larry, I think Bobby took out his own teammate over at the final corner.
There has been some D2D and D2D violence, and
Canadian dirt tracking right here.
That's Dre Debach and David Steiner.
I guess that isn't Canadian dirt tracking. That's Aussie dirt tracking, right?
It is, yes. Perhaps, let's see, as there's 3 cars going down through turn 1. Dre on the outside, alongside a fellow McLaren who decided to spin in front of him. I didn't see who that was. Actually, it's a pretty good recovery there for Debach, if you ask me. And Stubby just jinxed Bobby. I just want the world to know that if Bobby has any issues, it's Stubby's fault. We're saying that Bobby is still out there. Yeah, look at that spin for David Richards. Ooh. Ouch. All the way down to the bottom of the hill, too.
Oh.
Add that one to the list of fiberglass reconstruction currently ongoing in the virtual world. Well, we started tonight with 52 GT3s.
And we're down to 3.
With 52 cars, 35 GT3s, we're down to 23. So we have lost 9 GT3s.
Oh my gosh.
And half of our LMP2 field.
Oh.
Avon Dorsey, Josh Vidal, and Aaron Beaver appear to all be in the pits.
That leaves Josh Chinsky, Dave Menino, Charlie Jose, and Baron Glover. And Larry, more amazingly, they're all on the same lap.
True. Very true. But with now, let's see, 17 cars not running and 35 still on the track, perhaps 36 still on the track. It does reduce the amount of traffic they have to deal with. Maybe they'll settle into a groove. I don't know if that's possible. As Joe Nagy there in that Ferrari tiptoeing around the Moss hairpin. There's a lot of tiptoe. Get Stephen May, John Casey tracking him down. Rocky Rocco in that Rockefeller Racing Ferrari at the back end. So you get the 4 of these with the Rockefeller Ferraris at both ends of it. And one of our GTPs roaring through there. I'm hearing penalties announced, but I'm guessing that won't be the first or last.
Yeah, it won't be the first, won't be the last. The 98 car getting a penalty, Larry.
Milan Harris.
Milan Harris, yes.
In what might be the lone Lamborghini in the field. Well,
yeah, and he started from the pit lane as well.
He's still there, or he's returned.
Say he returned to the pit lane. So that drive-through penalty might be moot.
Yeah. So that's Harris there in the only Lamborghini, trying to avoid traffic as best he can, and just loses it.
So how did he get a penalty? Did the wall?
Did he drive back in? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Well, he did something at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe they're billing him for tire wall repair.
Keith Stein's been given a 5-second post-race penalty. Yeah, let's see what Harris here. And
yeah, that'll do it.
Takes out. Let's see which car that was.
There are a couple McLarens on the pit lane. I'm sure it's one of them.
Yeah. Let's see who else has been given a penalty tonight. Keith Stein given a unsafe re-entry, 5 seconds post-race. And I think everything else so far is no action taken. Maybe the stewards can't keep up, just like John's saying.
I think that's likely the issue.
Tough to come by. It's okay. We're still green.
Picked a bad day to stop sniffing glue. Oh my.
One of these days we're going to turn Jonathan's microphone on.
I know. We should.
All right, so we've got this pack of GT3s rolling through Moss. You got Dre Diebach. That should be behind him. Adam Ballard in the Rockefeller Racing McLaren behind him. Should be Klimovich, David Klimovich, in that 221 Porsche. Klim Club. Got something to cheer for the time being. A lot of days. Klimovich has had his days, but tonight's still out there.
All right, Baron Glover getting a penalty for, that's the 13 LMP2 machine. 13,
which is Jair Alvarado, actually.
Oh.
No, yeah, not the 13, not Baron Glover, but Alvarado, who's in the pits.
How anticlimactic.
All right, so quick recap. Front of the field.
Are we just recapping, or are we running down the field?
Just hit there.
To recap what
we'll give you the front three in each group here. Tanner Dibble, Ben Rose, and Jordan Butler, your top 3 in GTP. Josh Chinsky. Let's see the rest of these in here. Dave Menino and Charlie Hosea, your top 3 in LMP2. And then you've got, of course, Bennett, Brooks, and now Petrowski in 3rd. Only 3.7 back in the GT3, and that to me is the most compelling race we have right now, because Bennett and Brooks are nose to tail, and Petrowski is definitely laying on the heat as he's made his way around Palacio to get into the 3rd spot.
Yeah, for the moment he's got clear track up to the Mustang and the Porsche,
these are the
he's
leaders.
Just got a couple seconds.
Yeah, that Porsche and the Mustang are your front 2 right now. 7/10 between them. We've got some clear air for at least a moment.
Yeah, and it looks like the trailing LMP car might, well, I'd say might get to them right as they're getting to the Moss hairpin.
And that is one of the wrong stuff entries in that GTP. He's trying to go too wide through Moss. That's
and that's going to slow Brooks down considerably.
Dangerous. That looks like Adam Johnson. But they both survived. They're good.
Yeah, although as Brooks was there flashing the headlights, I don't think he was too happy about having to go through Moss too wide with the guy. And he gave up a lot of ground there. So we'll take a look Petrowski is now about 2.5 seconds back, but he definitely got a much better run out of the hairpin than either Bennett or Brooks. And we'll see here as they come to the line.
That gap is to the car in front of him, so he's closed up a little bit there. Part of that, Brooks is dropped back, having been passed, and now Brooks again is getting passed by another one of the, was an LMP2. That's Josh Vidal, who's out of the pits.
Jordy Fike in the chat once again. He wants to know where D2D is, and they're in the pits, Jordy. They're all dead.
Is he rooting for them like he wants a spot on the team?
I don't know.
Come on, Jordy.
I mean, he's watching in 1440p. You'd think he'd be able to pick him out on the pit lane.
We'll get Jordy Fike back out here one of these days. We'll get him in the races. As if we needed more entries. We only had 52 tonight. What's another one?
We'll stick him out there in an MX5 Cup car. Let him fend for himself.
All right, so look at this bit of racing going on here. That is Bobby Childs and Dalton Frederick still nose to tail. They've been this way for about 5 minutes now, even through traffic. Bobby responding well to being pressured.
Yeah, for now.
I'll give him props. He's doing all right. If anything happens, it's Stubby's fault. We've already established that. And Hiraday also with a, yes, they're in the pits. They're all dead. Where's Hiraday? And it's another one. Oh, too wide through turn 2 down the hill. Bobby holds the position.
Yeah, and Bobby's looking pretty tidy through there. He's not letting Fredericks really pressure him all that much or impact his line around here.
Traffic there as we check in some other battles. It's a couple of Mustangs there. Zach Mosley and Stacy Bertrand getting attacked by some LMP2s and LMP1s or GTPs.
I think that's Ben Rose just ahead that just came underneath him. Oh, and Jordan Butler, Larry, and his Acura. We just saw there as he took to the pits, took the tow. Let's see what happened here to the number 72 machine.
He had been running up into the top 3. This is Reisman.
And there's our single Lamborghini. That Lamborghini has been in more incidents tonight, Larry, per capita. Wow. It looked like Ben Rose got caught up in that as well.
Yeah, let's go on board with the replay here with Butler, who just nowhere to go.
Ugh.
Wow. So that takes out some more runners, this time of our GTPs, as it's Dibble and Rose at the front, and then a pretty big gap now with those issues hitting to Butler.
Yeah, but Bobby Childs, he's still out there, Larry.
He is. He's moving up.
Slowly but surely moving up through the field through attrition. He's up to 6th.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a lot of this aggression by the GTP drivers, and there's an example of it. Going around the outside of there. Is that Pfeiffer using the outside of turn 3?
And the grass, and yes.
Yep. And as Divock and Steiner continue to fight here down turn 4. And Caffrey, the other Australian, right there, all 3 of them, Caffrey, Steiner, and the other 2
Gotta stick them all in the same part of the track so you can keep track of them easily.
You'll see that these cars aren't really impacted too much by the traffic, got enough horsepower on their own. It makes this long straightaway very short and not as effective for making a pass. You've really got to push your way in, get your nose up underneath somebody if you want to make a pass, which is part of, I think, why we're seeing so much attrition, so much contact, is you have to be a bit aggressive if you want to get around somebody, whether it's in class or even between classes. That would be the wrong stuff. Is that Glover coming through there?
That's Glover, and directly behind.
That's the.
Is that one of the Oreo cars? That's one of the Rockefeller cars. Oh, Zach Mosley off, Larry.
Oh no.
Gonna take the toe.
Let's see what this replay looks like. We're gonna back this up, and he ended up getting hit by
up just a little bit more, John?
Schwenkler got into him after the fact. He lost it on his own, and now you see Schwenkler come along in the wrong stuff McLaren.
Oh, my.
And that.
Oh.
Wow.
So, oh my gosh. So, first he initiates a drift down the hill through turn 2,
and then hit something.
And then it looked like he went over like one of the sausage curbs and pulled like Abby Eaton at Coda when she put her W Series car in the air and broke her back. Oh my.
Yeah.
We've got it all tonight.
As Leo Dragota has quoted in the chat, and I love it when the young man brings in some pop references. DJ Khaled, another one. Because that's what's going on here. Another one bites the dust to go old school reference on you. This is just so much contact. Yeah, I'm not sure what he hit. If he hit the tire wall or if there's a sausage curb out in the grass somewhere.
I don't know. I mean, well, here, let's see. He hit the wall, and then he just hit
something at the end of that
at
asphalt.
the crossover road there. That little crossover.
Yeah, poor
Launched
Schwenkler.
the car.
Schwenkler's coming down there at 120 miles an hour, and he's got nowhere to go, and doesn't expect to see a car across the track in front of him. Can't do anything about it, and he's having a rough go there. So tonight, really a battle of attrition. 75 minutes to score points, and the only way you're going to score points tonight is to stay in this thing. So if you're in it now, 25 minutes out of 75, a third of the way through, you're thinking, now maybe I do just have to be a little bit conservative. I've survived to this point. Let's keep the survival rate up. And looking down the order of the results of the first round in Indy from 2 weeks ago, starting with the GT3 class, Mike Dam, he's been hit. He's hurt. Travis Schwenke, haven't heard his name at all tonight. I don't even know if he's online. Billy Petrowski's still up there. He's trying to make a fight for. We're going to flash up to him in a second because he's got a challenging for second place here.
Yeah.
Palacio is in that battle for second right now, so those guys have a good opportunity tonight. Mariano Barrios, nothing to be heard from tonight.
Well, and should note, Larry, that with Jeff Brooks being up front, Brian Bennett, who led from early on, he now falls back in the 4th position. Behind Palacio and Petrowski. And because the last time that we had checked in, Jeff Brooks was trying to chase down Brian Bennett, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, we're going to keep our eye on this. This is going to be interesting to me is because they're fighting through some traffic. Again, there's that wrong stuff GTP car trying to tuck underneath there. Flashing the lights and all. That should be Dave Minona, I think, is who that is. Trying to get through without making a mess, knowing these guys are in a battle. Palacio and Petrowski. Petrowski might be wise to just sit and wait and see if Palacio can gain some ground on Brooks. Otherwise, Petrowski's going to have to force the issue or maybe even look at a pit strategy. We haven't talked about the pit window because we've been... the pits are pretty full of broken cars right now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if there's any room for them to go. So we do have a while tonight, Larry, before we end up hitting the pit window. We're looking at the pit window for the GTP cars opening up around lap 32. So still about 12 minutes or so before we get there. The LMP2 cars is really odd, so I'm glad that we barely have any left because I'm fairly certain that the pit window was essentially 1 lap long, anywhere between laps 33 and 34, and that's it.
Okay. Well, there's still 4 of them. I see there's 4 of them that are on the lead lap, but yes. I do see Aaron Beaver and Avon Dorsey are out there turning laps, so...
Yeah, they're down running like 35th, 36th. Yeah.
But they decided to rejoin it. I think from a point standpoint, that's a wise move in a smaller class.
Yeah, because they're running 5th, 6th, and Josh Vidal also. So they're running 5th, 6th, and 7th.
And that was Avon Dorsey we just saw going by there around this battle. In fact, some of these guys might even be on the same lap. Vidal, Dorsey, and Beaver, all in LMP2s, all in the same lap, 5 laps down from the leaders.
And GT3 pit window should be opening up right around lap 26, Larry. So about 4 to 5 laps to go, and we should be in their window.
All right, so again, Petrowski not making any strong push, and I'm wondering if some of that is he just wants to save some tires, save some fuel, and some of that could just be it's tough to pass around, even with Petrowski's pace. Because right now they are losing just a little bit of pace to Brooks. They were just under 1 second. Now they're about 1.2 back.
All right, coming down the pit lane is Bobby Childs, Larry, in the 88 car.
Okay.
And again, I think maybe a little bit early, but we'll see.
This could be strategic. Again, he was in that little battle there with Dalton Fredericks, and they've decided that he had seen enough of that battle and just wants to get his pit stop done and run to the end. Not a bad move. Kind of a smart thing on a wild night like this. Here's the Petrowski-Palacio battle. They've cut it down to 1 second to Jeff Brooks in front. I don't know that I've seen the Brooks clan check in the chat yet.
No, I haven't seen the Brooks. We've had the Klim Club in here.
We have. Man, Hirde's out there. Leo Jagoda taking the night off. He's rooting for his teammates.
Oh, I see Mike Brooks in the chat.
Oh, we may have an opportunity for a pass here. Petrowski coming off the final corner. He's going to try and duck underneath, going into one, and he might be able to make it stick. If he can't, he'll be on the outside of two. He's got a nose just ahead. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, as they're going to go side by side through two.
Oh, and this is going to put him very deep. Oh, and he just holds on to it at the end there, Larry.
And now he's got the inside of three.
As we had, I think it was Jim Pfeiffer that came underneath him as they went into two. And there he goes. He gets the pass done now as they come out of three and make the run down the hill and head over towards the hairpin.
Yeah, great pass there. And that's how you do it at Mosport. You have to make them combinations. You get somebody who makes a bad run off of the final corner. You go side by side through one and through two and through three. And then finally you make it stick. Now we'll see if Petrowski has anything in the legs here to try and catch up to Jeff Brooks. As again, he's trying to hold form here and let the LMPs go on by. Now the last of them in his LMP2.
And I think that was a smart move by Vidal. He let the two GTP cars get out and around before tucking in underneath.
It's Dave Bonanno right now, second in LMP2, just in front of this battle of Taj Edwards and Alex Brown. Taj right now, so far, surviving. Is it the only remaining Orion still out there?
I believe it indeed is.
Because I don't think, Mike Dam, we saw his issues earlier. I don't know that we had a Travis Schwenke or
I don't think Travis or Robert Hartley were here this evening, no. And so Taj, again, rookie here in the series. And good to have him here. He is coming to us all the way from Jamaica, Mon.
Yeah, very cool. Might be the first time we had someone from Jamaica in our series. Good to have people from different parts of the world.
Yeah, we're just discussing Larry. Yeah. Andre Saunders, exactly.
Was he from Jamaica?
I believe so. Now you've piqued my interest, and I'm going to have to find out.
Now we're going to do our research here on the
right.
history of the Extreme Series to see if there was a prior Jamaican out there. We've had obviously we've got
came to us from the Extreme Motorsports Bobsled Series.
Obviously, we have our Australians that join us on Tuesday mornings. We had a couple of them in the field. One of those labeled as Australia is actually, I think, on the West Coast in the U.S., but the others are down under. We've had a couple of Europeans, a couple of folks in France that joined for a while.
Mm-hmm.
South Americans. I know we've had a few from Brazil, and we have someone from Chile. We had a GTP or LMP driver from Chile a couple years ago. If I got this right, Jair Alvarado, I think in this race, I think that's from Mexico.
Yes. And of course, we had from Brazil, we have both Iago Mores and Fernando Takahashi.
That's true. True global series. A true world challenge.
Yeah.
Our minds went the same place. That's great. All right, so we're focusing in again on this battle of Dre Divock and David Steiner continuing. These guys have been at this now for, what, about 15 minutes? Pretty much since the smoke cleared, this battle emerged between the BMW of Steiner, the Australian, and Dre Divock, the American, there in his what is he driving? McLaren.
Yes, Andre Saunders from Jamaica for Pocket Racing drove the number 72 BMW. And Bruno Bellamy from France.
Yep. I remember Bruno Bellamy, yep. It's a pretty good little battle going on here between these two. Battling for 11th in GT3, which tonight that's pretty good considering there were 35 of them when the green flag dropped.
Well, you know, Larry, it's going to be hard to pick out a hard charger. We've got we've got some of our GT3 racers that have made up 24 positions.
Well, I'll tell you, one of them right now might be, I'm looking at some of these, but Jennifer McDonald, we haven't talked about her. Yeah. She's up there in the top 10. She had started this race down the order. There she is in her traditional BMW.
In the BTL Motorsports number 99 machine. Indeed, she started off, I think 30th in GT3. She's now up to 9th. Yeah,
she's in that battle right now with Chase West in one of the Corvettes there right in front of her.
As she picks up a position on track as Ryan Reeves brought his McLaren onto the pit lane. And Larry, it sounds like the Alvarado car, the 113 BMW, it now receives a drive-through penalty for incident responsibility. And I think that's the second drive-through that it has been assigned. But let's do this, Larry. We're up at the top of the hour now, and we're about to hit some of the pit windows here for some of our cars. But let's take a quick little break. Going to thank some of our partners and sponsors, and when we come back to Mosport, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here for round number 2 of Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge's 11th season here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
And welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Mosport, for round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. I'm Greg Ginsburg. He's Larry Lefty McLeod. That man right there that we're watching is Ben Rose, driver of the number 5 Acura. He is currently your leader on track, as our previous leader, Tanner Dibble, brought his car down the pit lane just as we were going to break. And oh, Mustang off out of the hairpin, Larry.
Yeah, that was Brooks, wasn't it?
I think that was
your leader.
Yeah, that was your GT3 leader, Brooks, Jeff Brooks. And that should now move Bailey Petrowski up to the lead. Let's take a look here as he comes into the hairpin.
He just got a little bit too much curb there on driver's left, trying to get exit there. Didn't hit anything, and luckily nobody hits him. But boy, talk about losing some critical time trying to hold off your pole sitter Petrowski. And now he's going to find himself down by probably about 8-10 seconds.
That's it. So Petrowski, your new leader in GT3. Brian Bennett in the 161 Porsche moves back in the second. And then Taj Edwards now moving up into third.
Yeah, Brooks went to the pit stand right after that, it looks like.
Well, that's the second Mustang that we've seen that's maybe a little loose around here, although I think you're right. He got a lot of curb there. Coming through the second portion of the hairpin. Might have dropped that left rear wheel just slightly off the edge of the curbing.
Yeah. All right, there's this little battle here of Rocky Rocco and Phil Caffrey and a couple of Ferraris. Rocco just catching a little bit of grass in the apex there. He's going to hang it together and head for the last of these S's.
Caffrey gets a decent run out of the final corner.
Yeah. They're side by side. This is how we saw Petrowski make his pass. Had to go side by side through one. Caffrey not able to get any further, though. It looks like Rocco is able to get back in front, but is he going to push the issue and go to the inside here into 3? He does. Can he hold it, though? The outside line offers a better acceleration run. That's for Rocco.
Yeah, and Caffrey held that car so tight to the inside.
Did a good job, yeah. It's a good little scrap.
Leo Dragoda in the chat making cars and coffee jokes right now.
There are Mustangs in the field.
Exactly. So that's usual to see people not running away from the Mustangs.
Dalton Fredericks third in GTP wants to get by these guys, and he's not showing a lot of patience in doing it. There he goes. Again, they come down through 8, 9, and 10. This time, it's to the pit for Rocco.
Yep. To the pit lane for the 247 Ferrari.
Drive through the landfill worth of broken cars.
Yes.
He gets his own spot there at the back of the pit lane. Let's check in with Josh Chinsky then, who's leading the way in LMP2. Pretty comfortable right now at 5.5 seconds. Chinsky just staying in control. Pretty quiet. We haven't really talked about it much because he hasn't really been doing anything other than quality laps and safe racing. Just staying ahead of things and make good, clean passes like that. Which car that was and just went by. That was Keith's time.
And you know, Larry, as we're watching there, watching Chinsky work his way around, I'll tell you, I think the LMP2 cars are probably having a little bit easier time of it working through the GT3 traffic. They've been lapping maybe 1.5 to 2 seconds faster than the GT3 cars, and just that pace, I think, gives them maybe a little bit more time to react because the rate of closure is so much less than the GTP machines that are running almost 10 seconds a lap faster.
That 3 seconds a lap difference between the GTPs and the LMP2s might, like you say, softens the approach a little bit between them. So it only puts them, like you said, about 9 seconds difference in a lap between an LMP2 and a GT3. But
that said, there are only 3 of them remaining on the lead lap.
There are, yeah. There's Chinsky, Menino, and Glover's still hanging in there right now. Not sure who is pit and who hasn't pit at this point. My timing board is so chaos.
All right, well, let me take a look here. In GT3, Petrowski, Edwards, Bertrand have not come into the pits. Chase West and David Steiner are just now taking to the pit lane. That moves Dre Divock up to 4th.
And Ben Rose comes in because we had seen Tanner Dibble pit when we were at commercial break, and that's why Tanner Dibble wasn't in the lead at the race. But what happens now with Rose, because he was just a couple seconds back from Dibble when the pit started.
Yeah, and Dibble was lapping almost 2 seconds faster than Rose was at the time that he came in.
Keep an eye
Let's see here. He's about 38 seconds back. Bailey Petrowski now pits in from the lead in GT3. Larry. I've got to drink. Where are the brothers Anthony when you need them? And Petrowski now looks like he's taking some tires. And given the amount of fuel going into these cars, the GT3 cars, I would think that most of them would either take 2, possibly 4 tires, because they should be able to get all 4 changed while the fuel is going into the car.
Yeah, worth it on a track like this. Does wear tires quite a bit. There's no place for a car to rest around here, and certainly if you can get them essentially for free by not taking up any extra pit time, you go ahead and do that. All right, so Dibble back to the top of the order there with the pit for Ben Rose. Petrowski, on the other hand, let's see how this works out. Edwards and Divock having not stopped yet. So Edwards could get himself a bonus point for leading a lap. There are bonus points given to drivers for clean driving, which tonight will be challenging, but also for leading a lap, for being on pole, for practicing in the offered practices that the league does during the week. Lots of ways to get bonus points. So here's one there for your current race leader, Kyle Edwards. And he's in the pits. Might hand the lead.
Divock wasn't very far back.
No, so keep an eye on Divock.
And Divock is one of the few cars left yet to pit. He's coming into the pit lane now.
Yep.
And completing 36 laps, Larry, that is right about the very end of that GT3 pit window.
And Bailey Petrowski takes the lead back as we get a good shot of him right there going down through turn 1. So you can see, though, the lead of Petrowski to Palacio, just 2 seconds between the McLaren and the Ferrari. So good little battle going on there. Brian Bennett, after his issue earlier, has got himself down into 3rd. And looks like Jeff Brooks now sitting in 4th, just behind Bennett. So good little battle there for the last podium position right now, as well as the battle here for the lead between Palacio and Petrowski.
And in LMP2, you see there the gap, about 4 seconds between Chinsky and Menino. Both drivers have completed their pit stop. Baron Glover quite a bit back from there. He's also completed his. There's Josh Chinsky in the SRT eSport machine, your current leader in class.
the battle. Of course, the Chase West, Phil Caffrey.
Hey Larry, did you get the phone number for that Holiday Inn in Oshawa? So, just noticed the billboard coming out of the Moss hairpin. You know, in case we need lodging.
We just might. Tell you who's not going to be lodging is all the mechanics for the 20 cars that have already called the quits in this race. Those guys, they don't have to worry about getting a hotel tonight. They're on the road early.
All right, Phil Caffrey now, I believe, was the last of our GT3 racers to pit. He comes down the pit lane now. As we pick up Chase West in the 757 Chevy Corvette. He's running 10th in GT3. And here's Taj Edwards, who rejoined the action in 5th position with the Eagle Beaver Racing entry of Alex Brown.
Yeah.
In the 67 machine, not
hanging
far back.
In there.
Yeah.
So there's actually a pretty close battle here for Brown. Just a half second there behind Edwards. They're only about 2 seconds back from Jeff Brooks in 4th. Brooks, of course, was leading this race for quite a bit earlier on. Right now, that is the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. So we're going to keep our eyes on these guys here between the Mustang, the Corvette, and the second Mustang there with Eagle Beaver for Brown. With about 25, almost 26 minutes left in this thing. Like that line for Brown there, catch a lot of apex and avoid.
Yeah.
That was Ben Rose, perhaps? One of the DNA entries going by.
Yeah, judging by the taillights, I think that is the Acura, indeed.
Check in with Stephen May. He's having his own little scrap with John Casey there in front of him. Ferrari and the American Ferrari, I mean the Corvette. Oh, a little wide there for May going through turn 1. Dropping back a little bit. It's Dibble going on through. There's your race leader. He's up a good 10 seconds.
Want to welcome Carbon to the chat, and of course another member of the 1,000-member Klim Club. Speaking of which, let's take a quick look here. As we've got David Klimovich. Yeah. And that's the 251 machine ahead that he's putting down. That's Andre Wedderburn that he's putting a lap down.
That's not for position.
No. Wedderburn currently running, I think, 21st in class.
And that's race leader Dibble right behind them, trying to gently poke his way through there. He's got 11 seconds in hand over his nearest rival, so he'll take his time going by these guys, and preferably before they get to 1. But it does look like that's going to happen. He's going to have to wait and do it around 1. He does. Look at the grip that GTP car has.
Yeah.
Klimovich in need of a livery.
Aren't we all?
His name in particular. Maybe by next week we'll get the Klim Club to get him a full-on livery.
Yeah,
for that
they'll pony up some dollars for for some vinyl. Yeah.
Maybe just put all the faces of the Klim Club across the car.
Or their signatures. I think that'd be great.
Neat, yeah.
Yeah.
Signed by everyone in the Klim Club.
Get on it, club members.
All right, so just a little over 20 minutes to go. It's still Dibble leading teammate Rose with Jim Pfeiffer in 3rd in the GTPs. Nothing's changed in the LMP2s. It's still Josh Chinsky over Dave Menino. Baron Glover currently 3rd. Billy Petrowski now opening his lead. Was 2 seconds after his pit stop over Eric Palacio. Now 4.5 seconds. Ryan Bennett still in 3rd. Right behind him, though, not far back, still Jeff Brooks. Dre D-Bob. Somewhere in there should be Edwards.
Edwards up in 5th position in his Corvette. Orion Corvette.
So whatever Petrowski had on cold tires at the start of this race seemed to be able to shake that off. We saw him in the opening lap. He led the first few corners, and suddenly he was down a bunch. Probably was about 6-7 seconds back from the leader, who was Brooks at the time, and just slowly inched his way up, got past a couple of drivers, and pit from the lead. And got the lead back.
Oh, by the way, all of you in the chat and all of you watching, listen to Jordy Fike. He's a very bright man. Go ahead and hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed to Apex Racing TV, you probably want to consider doing that. Got some of the best virtual racing action around. Thank you, John, for putting that up.
Fike, our resident producer in the chat.
Our hype man.
He is.
More so than he's replacing Stubby.
Stubby,
Sorry,
losing your
Stubby.
job as hype man. Jordy Fike.
Well, Jordy handles all the stuff north of the border. That's all.
Maybe we go to Montreal next. Not this season. No, in 2 weeks back, we're going to be in Belgium, in the Spa.
That's right.
Yeah, love me some Spa.
Yeah,
Larry.
As a matter of fact, might as well take a look at talk about a little bit of what we have coming up here on the schedule in the next couple of weeks. I think that's a good segue here, as you mentioned. In just a couple of weeks, the World Challenge going to be at Spa for our first 90-minute endurance race of the season. That's Monday night, October 7th. But next week, Larry and I will actually be at the National Park of Speed Road America, not calling the Ricmotech Mini Mite Sports Car Challenge. We're going to have two other nice, wonderful folks from Apex Racing TV calling that race from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Circuit. As always, the Mini Mite Sports Car Challenge for our GT4 and LMP3 racers. We'll have two 35-minute sprint races. And then in 3 weeks, October 14th, the Mini Mite Sports Car Challenge will be at Road Atlanta. And Larry and I should be back for that, just as we should be back for Spa. And of course, don't forget the, I was going to say the Sports Car Series, the Touring Car Cup for our MX-5 Cup and GR86 Cup racers. That will be returning, I believe, Larry, in January.
With Jordy Fike, I'm sure.
That's right. Hopefully we'll have Jordy there. And we'll get you more information as we get closer. I'm just hoping we have John Allen to bounce off the pit walls.
He may be back.
Have him come back out. Yeah, I'd love to see him back.
So we've been watching here this little battle. Ryan Reeves, Stacey Bertrand. Reeves there in the McLaren, Bertrand in her Mustang, trying to chase each other down here. Currently battling, I think, for 7th in GT3, if I have that right.
Leo said he misclicked. Did that mean he gave us a thumbs down? Leo, that won't work for us. Try it again.
Somehow I doubt that likely the youngest driver in the field would have any trouble knowing where the like button is on these apps. Well, you and I, however...
He's a moody youth.
You and I would have to put our glasses on to find the like button. I don't think Leo has that problem.
I'm using a magnifying glass.
I just have a monocle. There's a good little battle going on though. Bertrand and that Mustang. These would probably get up a little closer, start putting a little bit more pressure on. Perhaps trying to force Reeves into a mistake. Reeves with that hashtag never lift on the other side of that rear wing. There it is. We also had to keep our eye on the lead of this overall in this race, as Ben Rose has gotten to within 3.5 seconds of Tanner Dibble. It's not over yet at the front of the field. About 18 minutes or 17 minutes now to go. battle going on for 11th there, David Steiner and Chase West.
And Larry taken to the pit lane. Jake Zito in his GTP Acura. That's his, I think, his second pit stop.
He had been in there for a while at some point tonight.
Yeah, but
he's back in there perhaps for repairs.
Let's take a look, because it looks like he's missing a rear wing.
Well, that means he likely backed into something, perhaps the wall down at the Moss hairpin. Well, that's the wall at 3. They didn't make it, but he ends on his roof, and somehow that would be why he's in the pits, is he got towed there.
Did they leave him on his roof when they towed him there? Let's take a look. It didn't quite get to the hairpin.
Ooh, the rear lockup going in through 3. That's pretty brutal. He's got a good view of the grass there at turn 3.
Oh, sorry, Jake.
All right, so we're reaching the end of our first hour, just 15 minutes left. And again, I'm watching Dibble and Rose getting closer and closer, as well as battles like this with Bertrand and Reeves. With the other battles that are going on out there.
And that big Mustang with all that frontal area just must look so intimidating when you look at it, when you look through the camera view out the rear of your McLaren. This is Chase West in the Corvette chasing David Steiner directly ahead. The Aerokinetics machine.
And the other battle that's closing in is their LMP2 battle, which we had seen Chinsky had a pretty comfortable lead. It is no longer comfortable. It's now closing fast, under 2 seconds.
To Meneno, yeah.
Chinsky's in some traffic.
Yeah, let's see if we can take a look at that, John. Chinsky and Meneno here. And here we go. Ask and you shall drop back 2
Either
cars.
there's some traffic or Chinsky maybe even doing some fuel save here late in the race. That's definitely traffic in front of him. In fact, that's that.
Right, that's
West
Chase West
Steiner.
and Steiner that we were just watching.
Yeah. And that'll limit your exit speed there coming out of the Moss hairpin for Josh Chinsky. So now down to 1.5 seconds. That's Josh Vidal right behind him in the shot, so that is not the position we're talking about. Vidal, I believe, is a couple laps down, several laps, like 14 of them down. Back a little further than the pack would be the 199 of David Menino. There he is. I think he's that orange car just popped around the exit of turn 1. Lead now is back up, but more traffic is going to hurt that. He did a good job here of picking his way through this bit of traffic. See how wide he doesn't go there at the Moss hairpin? Keeps it very tidy between the apexes. I like that. I think when you start pushing wide, there's a camber change in the pavement, and that's where you run at risk, like we had seen with Brooks, I believe it was.
Yeah, when you come up over the rise and it flattens out.
Yeah, exactly. When you start pushing out toward that outside curb, we'd seen the Mustang of Brooks get onto that curbing, but I think also when you lose the camber of the pavement, you also get the car light out there. I like that line Chinsky just showed us there a moment ago. As he goes underneath Jeff Jacobs, who's doing all sorts of extra work this week. He was chatting with us for the last 2 days in the preparation for this and all the things that league admins have to do. Closing down again. There he is. There's your second place runner, Dave Menino. Trying to get down to the apex here at 3 while he goes around. I think it was Jennifer McDonald he was making his way past. Oh, there's a lot of dirt off the track right here.
Yeah, I think Rocky Rocco had gone off there, and we see another one of our GTP cars, I think, off on the side. I think Bobby Childs may have gone off there. We'll try and get a little more info over there, but it looks like we might have had a couple of drivers involved coming out of the hairpin.
Bobby there with a broken left front end, and he's down at turns 8 and 9. While this was happening, there was tons of things happening all the way down in turn 4 as well at the same time as Bobby was trying to make his way to the pits.
Let's see what happened to Rocky Rocco, if we can.
Yes, I'm also watching the 00. Yep, and that was Jim Pfeiffer.
There it goes.
There goes Rocky spinning quickly. And that was Pfeiffer in the LMP, or the GTP, I think, that he bumped into. Yep, there's Pfeiffer. Oof. Lots of incidents are under review at the same time. I'm starting to wonder if Taj Edwards was involved in one.
And Larry, the already decision's been made. The 247 car getting a drive-through penalty.
That's Rocky Rocco. I don't think that's going to matter. This is Taj Edwards in the Orion Corvette as he got tagged there. Is that Wedderburn?
That is the Andre Wedderburn 911.
And yeah, Wedderburn is a couple laps down at this point. And we know Edwards is running up in the top 5 in the GT3s. They shouldn't even be close to each other. There may also be, it looks like there may be some other reviews coming soon.
And there you go, Larry. The 251 machine of Wedderburn just now getting assigned a penalty and a drive-through penalty.
There may be some other things happening around, but the admins are taking care of all of it.
Yeah, it sounds like some of our drivers may be getting a little frustrated here late in the race, Larry.
Yep. Well, they survived this long, so they've got to be relieved. At this point, that's Dave Menino in that number 199 LMP2, still trying to chase down Josh Chinsky. 2.4 seconds separates them. 10 minutes to go. Chinsky being a little bit cautious there, coming out behind that Brown.
Alex Brown, yeah.
Brown currently running up in the top 4.
All right, Larry, I think we're going to finally figure out what happened to the front end of Bobby Child's BMW, the BMW M-Power machine.
At this point, he's being cautious, and he just got caught in the spin of the Corvette of Chase West, if I got that right.
Yeah,
Bobby just had nowhere to go.
Chase West machine who was chasing down David Steiner.
Yeah, Chase West was having a good little fight with Steiner, and then he goes off, and unfortunately, Bobby just kind of gets caught in that. Nothing he could do about it. All right, back to the leader in LMP2 then, Josh Chinsky. Trying to be gentle with how he gets around. Is that Palacio in the Porsche? I think it was.
Yes.
Palacios in a Ferrari. Was that Bennett, I think, in the Porsche then?
Wait, yeah, that's right. Palacio's in the 39 Ferrari.
Right.
And
I think
yes,
Bennett might be in the 161.
Bennett's in the white 161 Porsche and running third currently in GT3.
All right, well, it's Stacey Bertrand now trying to get up into the top 5, still chasing down Ryan Reeves. Just about 8 minutes to go. Look how cautious they are through that Moss hairpin. It's single file through there, of course, is the only good way. Stacey feigns the move one way, feigns it again. Maybe just trying to make Reeves think about it.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit too far back. Pokes down to the inside now as they come into turn 8.
And I see one of the GTPs coming up behind them. This ought to be interesting as they get up here through turns 9 and 10.
That's one of the Rockefeller cars. So that would be... Oh my gosh, which ones do we still have on track? I think that's Charlie Hosea in the 100 car.
Yeah. He's going to be patient-ish. Goes down the inside at 1. Snakes between. Will probably go down the left side here, coming around 2 into towards 3. Yep, there he goes. He's going to provide any opportunity here for Bertrand to try and get her Mustang a little bit closer. A pretty good job there for Reeves to maintain his pace as best he could. And this Dalton Fredericks currently running 4th. Not really in a fight with anybody, so he's got time to be patient here, getting around Bertrand and Reeves. Lights in the McLaren looking pretty good here. Not giving up any straight line speed to the Mustang behind. All right, so 6 minutes left. Your leader in GTP continues to be Tanner Dibble. There, we got a good shot of Tanner. Josh Vidal down another lap, and then I think that's right in front of him, the leader in GT3. Yep, that's Billy Petrowski. So the leader in GTP, GT3 in the same shot there. The closest battle for the lead right now is Chinsky and Meneno are now just 1.2 seconds apart. There's Chinsky.
And Meneno's in the orange.
You can see Meneno's made up some ground in the last couple laps.
Yes.
You can see it. Again, you get to this point in the race in these 75-minute events where sometimes you had to guess on your pit fuel, and they start doing fuel saves toward the end, but you can see Chinsky now getting a bit aggressive with the GT3 traffic. Back to the Reeves and Bertrand battle. Just a bit of a replay here. Reeves runs wide. Bertrand's going to get the spot. It's headsy driving there for Stacey Bertrand to take that spot while Reeves ran wide there at Moss Hairpin.
And looks like Reeves is trying to fight back here, Larry, with time running down.
Yep. It's on his side now as we could pull away from the Chinsky battle anyways. He's pulled back out to 2.5 seconds. This is the closest battle on track here. Battling for your top 5 in GT3. When we started the race with 35 GT3s, top 5 means a lot in this field. 4 minutes left. It's all going to depend on where race leader Tanner Dibble or Ben Rose end up being at that time. They'll dictate when we see a white flag. We'll see if the McLaren's got any legs behind the Mustang. We saw the Mustang not able to catch the McLaren. Now that it rolls a reverse, let's see how it goes. Leo seems to think the McLarens have some legs on them. Pretty equal.
So some of that smooth throttle application through turn 1, Larry. Just keeping a constant pressure on it, but you can't really feed the throttle in until after you get almost fully through the corner.
Yeah, because if you run wide at 1, that grass is as slippery as grass gets anywhere. As this is your leaders in GTP and LMP2, Tanner Dibble and Josh Chinsky going nearly side by side as they come out of turn 3. Chinsky just lifts and lets Dibble go through. He does. And we come up on Jeff Jacobs. Jacobs running in 16th-ish, has spent some time in the pits tonight.
And let's take a look, Larry, because Ryan Reeves is having some issues here.
And that's Wedderburn in front of him.
Again.
And that's Wedderburn next to him. And that's Wedderburn following him into the wall.
Oh.
Andre Wedderburn has been a part of everything, and unfortunately tonight for Ryan Reeves, that's it's going to cost him a chance at a top 5. So we've got 2 minutes left, and our overall leader just crossed start finish, so he probably has 2 more laps there for the leader Tanner Dibble. As we check in with Billy Petrowski, who's quietly been opening his lead up, now to 8 seconds over Eric Palacio.
Yes, the D2D McLaren that hasn't had many issues tonight.
So far, fingers crossed. Might have 2 more laps as well, depending on where Dibble defines the final lap. Yeah, Petrowski, just a good solid night after that bit of a shaky start. Doing everything he needed to do to collect potentially max points here. So that's the kind of effort you need that wins you championships. You got to just settle down, take the cold tire laps as best you can. Don't throw it away. A lot of chaos at the opening lap from a lot of drivers. He managed to keep it together. And now with a lap and a half to go, chance to collect a lot of points. Dibble another one.
Yeah, and this should now bring out the white flag, Larry, as we're under a minute remaining on the clock. Yep, and there we go. White flag is in the air for Tanner Dibble.
So Dibble's going to bounce back from an effort 2 weeks ago that maybe wasn't what he wanted, to potentially win this round 2 and try to keep up with Dalton Fredericks, who had that opening round win. Currently running 4th tonight. Shows you how quick it is to finish on top to the bottom and vice versa in this field. This is some deep, deep talent in all of our classes, but no different there in GTPs. Just going to take his time in the last 2 corners. Let these guys have another lap if they want it. And there you go.
And there you go, checker flag. And your winner in round number 2 from Mosport, Tanner Dibble from DNA Motorsports, takes the overall win, takes the win in GTP. Crossing the line and taking the win in LMP2 for SRT Esport will be Josh Chinsky. And when Bailey Petrowski comes onto the front straight, he'll see the checkered flag in the air. And he should, assuming he can take the last 3 corners successfully, take the win here in round number 2 for, I believe, Larry, his 2nd win of the season.
Yes, it is.
Yes, in GTP. So very success, or probably not in GTP, in GT3. I'm so used to calling his wins in GTP. There he goes, checkered flag, your winner. Bailey Petrowski in his GT3 McLaren. So it's Dibble, Rose, Johnson, your top 3 in GTP. Chinsky, Menino, and Glover, your top 3 in LMP2. And in GT3, Bailey Petrowski with the win. Eric Palacio, 2nd in his Ferrari. Brian Bennett holds on to 3rd in his Porsche 911. All right, so Larry, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. And thanks to our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll talk to some of our podium finishers here from Mosport, where you've just seen round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. We'll be right back.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name brand parts. expert support, Ricmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
And welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Mosport, where we've just seen round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by the SCCA Foundation and Buttkicker. Let's take a look again at that final order where Tanner Dibble takes the overall win, and GTP with Ben Rose finishing second, Adam Johnson finishing third. In LMP2, it's Josh Chinsky with the win for SRT Esport, Dave Meneno finishing in second, Baron Glover third. And then in GT3, Bailey Petrowski takes the win for D2D Sim Racing. Eric Palacio will finish second, and Brian Bennett will finish in third. All right, let's take a look here, Larry, at who we have waiting for us in the green room. Why don't we start off tonight with LMP2, where Josh Chinsky, driver of the SRT Esport Ligier, took the win. Let's hear from him.
All right, your winner of LMP2, Josh Chinsky, joining us here. And Josh, it looked like the LMP2s were just a little bit of a closer speed to the GT3s to not be quite as chaotic, but 60, 50 some odd cars in this field tonight, and you managed to get out of there alive, let alone win the race. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, Larry, it was just insane. I mean, that was probably the craziest race I've taken part of. I mean, the end goal was just stay clean. Whatever came out of it would be. I just wanted to make sure I kept my car clean. So, yeah, I mean, really, it was, I think, lap 2 of where, lap 2 or 3, where we had that big checkup in Moss. That was the scariest of all, man. I thought that was my race over right then and there.
Yeah, we had a lot of that tonight, and a lot of 3 wide, 4 wide on a track that frankly can't do more than 2 wide, it seems. But it seems a lot of people are trying it. Were you using the chat tonight to try and warn maybe some of the GT3 drivers that something's coming, or were you just trying to be patient where you could?
I was just trying to be patient where I could. I'm not a huge fan of trying to be on the voice chat and race. I feel like it takes away from my attention of driving. So I was just sitting there waiting for my opening. If they gave it, I took it. If they didn't, I just sat back and waited for the next clean opportunity.
Yeah, as that race wound on, we started seeing Dave getting a little bit closer to you. He got that lead down up under 1 second. I don't know if that was just sort of the ebb and flow of traffic, but how closely do you watch that? And then how quickly can you pick up the intensity to recover from that?
Oh, yeah, it had me sweating as I saw it slowly close down from 5 seconds to within a second. And then it was just the ebb and flow of traffic. I got caught in a couple of bad spots, and then he got caught in a couple bad spots. It's multi-class, but he definitely kept me on my toes. I was pushing really hard at the end there.
Yeah, it was right up to the end, a bit of a nail biter there. But now it looks like 2 weeks in a row, 2 rounds in a row, you're able to get the win here in the LMP2. So congrats on that. I'm sure, though, you got some friends and teammates you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, first off, shout out to Eric Palacio, second overall in the GT3. That was just awesome driving from him. Shout out to SRT for supporting me, working with me, making sure that my setup's on point every week. Shout out to my friends and family who are watching the stream. Mom, Dad, love you guys. And looking forward to round 3. I've really enjoyed it so far, and I can't wait for the next race.
Well, awesome job tonight. 2 rounds in a row with the wins here in LMP2. Josh Chinsky, congrats.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Larry, let's move over now to our GT3 winner, running for D2D Sim Racing. New this round in his McLaren, Bailey Petrowski.
All right, so Bailey Petrowski, the survivor tonight. You were fast, you were on the pole, but boy, opening couple laps looked pretty treacherous for you and anybody else near the front. Tell me a little bit about how you survived the first 5-6 laps.
Yeah, it probably looked a bit strange from the outside, but I was struggling with a lot of tech issues through that race. My steering wheel actually disconnected 3 times during that race, and that was every time I dropped back a lot. Was my steering wheel just completely disconnecting. I lost all gears, couldn't upshift, couldn't downshift, lost force feedback, had nothing. So I had to unplug my wheel every time after that while driving and plug it back in and retighten it. So
how do you have the wherewithal? How do you be able to focus on looking at the car doing 100 miles an hour around one of the fastest average speeds track in the world and be able to play around with plugs and wires in the back of your wheel at the same time?
I can't say I did the greatest job at it, because I think I cut off a couple prototypes while doing it. But it was terrifying, honestly. But I didn't really have a choice. It's either that or pull over on the side and lose every position I just gained.
Are you trying to tell me you're like the Mr. Magoo out there? You're just sort of blind and everyone, the chaos is happening behind you with the GTP prototypes?
Pretty much, yeah. But other than that, yeah, it was just survival. It was just everyone else around me got taken out, and it was just keeping it on the track.
Wow. No, we did not know you anything like that. We just figured maybe cold tires or just something else, because a lot of the front runners also had issues tonight. But to have wheel issues, actual tech issues, sort of like flying the space shuttle, and you've got Houston guiding you through how to plug it back in. That's pretty wild. But you managed to do that. You managed to get through that. I don't know how many more times it happened during the race. It happened 2 or 3 times. But as the race went on, you seemed to get into a rhythm, and maybe that was having a wheel that's plugged in and having all your shifting available.
Yeah, that definitely helps. But no, I think I was so paranoid that the steering wheel was going to give out on me again that I was just trying to push as hard as I could to make up for any time as well while it was still working. And I kept pushing on the steering wheel certain times and just trying to readjust it every time I got to the back straight, hoping it wouldn't stop working again. And yeah, it was honestly kind of terrifying. And then I'm still getting used to being the slower car and having to deal with faster traffic coming up on me. So that's also, while dealing with that, it was a pretty stressful race, even though for a lot of it I didn't have cars around me.
Yeah, I can imagine the stress starting out with 52 cars on track, but by the end it was about half of that, considering the level of attrition tonight. So I'm sure it got a little easier as it went on.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, a great job tonight showing the ability to multitask and to be able to rewire the wheel. And I'm hoping that by 2 weeks from now, when we're at Spa, you've got that sorted out, because I don't think I'd want to be going through a Rouge without my wheel or the ability to shift. That could get pretty hairy.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound enjoyable.
No, but you survived tonight, getting the victory here, and a great recovery from a finish that you probably wanted to win around 2 weeks ago, but you get it here tonight. And I'm sure you got some teammates and some friends you want to thank for helping you get here.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank Chris and David. We put in quite a bit of practice together. Thank you, Bobby, for the paints for the new car. It was very last second, and thank you for him getting it on time and making it look so good. Want to thank my dad for always supporting these races, all my friends and family, all the sponsors for the series, as well as our team that helped make all this happen. You guys for commentating on these races as always, and helping put on a great show as well. And yeah, that's all.
All right. Well, hopefully you get that wheel all figured out, or maybe just call it Ricmotech and order a new one for 2 weeks from now. But for now, you survived and you get the victory here for D2D Sim Racing. Bailey Petrowski, congrats.
Thanks. Have a good one, you guys.
All right, there you go, Bailey Petrowski. Could we recommend maybe like a mini mic system? I don't know.
Yes, I think we can.
All right, tell you what, let's bring in now our GTP winner, taking the overall win tonight in the number 963 DNA Motorsports Porsche 963, Tanner Dibble.
All right, Tanner Dibble tonight in what we think may be the most chaotic of the World Challenge races we've ever seen. You managed to get the victory just fast and efficient through this field. Tell me a little bit about how it looked like from your point of view.
I probably lost a few years off my life. That was stressful.
I can imagine. It just seemed to be around every corner was another GT3 car parked across the track.
Or six.
Or six, is a lot of your competitors and a lot of probably some of your teammates that managed to get taken out with cars just in the wrong place, wrong time. But is it a little bit just a luck tonight that no one happened to be where you were going, or were you able to get around them?
There was definitely some luck when people lost it, like right in front of me, like going into turn 2, 3, that long downhill sweeping left. There was a couple cars that lost it in front of me there, and if they had lost it, a second sooner, yeah, a little bit of luck, but a lot of it was just being patient and knowing which cars I can trust and which ones maybe not so much.
Yeah, we had seen the earlier pit stop as well. I think you stopped before Ben did and a few others did. Was that just opportunity, seeing that there's some traffic and may as well duck in?
Yeah, I was coming up on one of the backmarker GTPs, but also I like usually to split the race in half, unless I have like a really aggressive first stint or a really slow first stint, then maybe I'll extend one or the other. But usually I like to split the race in half, and that was, I think, just about the halfway point.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was solid race strategy and solid survival skills to get to the victory here and to kind of bounce back from how it went 2 weeks ago and get yourself right back into the championship contention. That's going to be tough. This is a long season. I have a feeling this is not going to be the last of our chaotic events. Anytime you can come out on top, it's a big deal. So congrats on the win tonight, but I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank for helping you get here.
Yeah, for sure. Friends and family, any of them checking out the stream, thank you guys, and thanks to the DNA boys. A bit of a tough night for the team, minus the 1-2, but we'll be back stronger than ever.
Yep. That's kind of how it went tonight. You still get the 1-2, but boy, so much attrition. The mechanics going to be busy for the next couple weeks putting cars back together.
Yep.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win here tonight at Mosport. DNA Motorsports, Tanner Dibble.
Thank you, guys.
Of season number 11, and then of course in 3 weeks the sports car challenge then heads to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. That should be somewhat hectic.
Yep.
As if we didn't have enough fun here tonight.
All right. Be a lot like Mosport.
It definitely should be. Hey, so I want to thank everybody who joined us in the chat here, and hopefully we can get Alex Brown and get the story behind Eagle Beaver Racing at some point in time. We definitely want to hear that. But I want to thank you all, and thank, of course, Jonathan Grabowski bringing us all the great views and photos and shots here tonight. And Larry Lefty McLeod, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and Larry and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. The Ricmotech series next week, Monday at 8 p.m. Have a great evening and a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.